right, so the camper slash toy hauler project is underway. And what I've started on today is putting my tabletop up here. It's nice to have a tabletop so that you can, make sandwiches or prepare your meals. You can set a little microwave on there, toaster, just basic things. Like I said, I'm not going to turn this into a full-blown RV, but the idea is just to have a little bit more convenience in the process of primitive camping. So what I did was, obviously these trailers have a V-nose front. So I took some of our old Christmas wrapping paper and I laid it up in there, and then I kind of pressed in along the crease, to make a nice firm edge with the wrapping paper. And then I took a razor knife and cut it. So I basically made a template out of Christmas wrapping paper, and then I laid it on a sheet of 4x8 plywood and drew out my template and cut it. And I ended up having to trim the edges, the corners here, just a little bit more because of the trim work that they put in the enclosed trailer. But other than the corners there, this thing ended up fitting perfectly. And then I decided how deep I wanted the tabletop to be, and I cut the rest of the plywood sheet in just a straight line right here. So this piece right here fits just like a puzzle piece up in there. The next part was deciding how tall I wanted it to be. Originally I set it at 40 inches, and then once I had it in place I realized that it was a little bit taller than I really wanted. So I dropped it down 2 more inches, and now I have it set at 38. I just went around here and made a mark at 38 inches, and I put some of these L brackets on the wall, and now I'm ready to set the tabletop in place. All right, so now you can see with it set in place, it looks pretty good. And like I said, this is just the first step. I'm going to take a 2x4 and cut a leg to put here in the middle, because obviously the front of it is a little wobbly now, because all my attachment points are along the wall back there. So I'm just going to cut a piece of treated 2x4, like I said, and make a leg right here in the center, and that'll give it plenty of stability. So like I said, you can use it as a countertop to make food, or you can store things on there while you're traveling, or whatever you want. So this is step 1. And then once I'm finished with this, which is just going to be a few more minutes, all I have to do now is run some screws in there and put my leg in. Then I'm going to probably get another cabinet and put right here. And the cabinet's nice because you can put paper plates, cups, plastic silverware, all that stuff that you end up using while you're camping. You can keep all of that in a cabinet, and that way you don't have to worry about, finding it in the garage and packing it to bring with you each time. Basically, all the stuff that we need for primitive camping is going to stay in here. May put a TV mount over there. I have a small TV that I can take with us, and those TV mounts that I've been using in recent years, you can just press a single button and it unclips. You can pull the TV off the wall and take it somewhere else, put it on, if you've got the same mount in your trailer as you have in the house, you can swap your TV back and forth. So when we go on a trip for the weekend, we can just throw the TV up here, and that'll be sweet. And then last but not least, which we'll get to in just a minute, we're going to have like a mirror and like a little, I don't want to really say medicine cabinet, but like a little tray that comes down. I wear contact lenses. It'll be nice to have a spot to, see what I'm doing when I'm poking myself in the eyes in the mornings. But you can put stuff like that in there. So again, just primitive camping, but a little bit more convenient than sleeping in a tent. That's the way that we're kind of going here. Guys, I am out of breath and I'm out of shape, I'm realizing, but I've got a lot done. So the shelf or the tabletop, countertop, whatever you want to call it, is done. I got my 2x4 cut out for a leg, got the spare tire mount, and what I did with it was I found a wall stud and I bolted that mount to the wall stud because tires and wheels are pretty heavy. So you figure, if we're bouncing down the road, I don't want that thing to put too much stress on that cheap little 3/8 inch plywood that they use on the walls. So I went ahead and hit a wall stud with that. Got this little, I guess it's actually made to put chemicals or set tools in or whatever. But I use it, like I said, we can put when we're camping, we can put our shampoo bottles, contact lens solution, whatever in there. And of course, just a little makeshift mirror. So I got that all done. Got an LED light mounted up there. I'm gonna end up putting a long power strip. I've got a really long electrical power strip here that I'm gonna mount right here on the wall. And when I do that, then I'll be able to plug my LED light into that. So we'll have overhead lights right up here where we're trying to work. I've got some E-track mounted in the floor, and I went, these floor studs are floor joists are 16 inches on center, so I went every 16 inches and put some long self-tapping screws in there so that these E-track sections are actually bolted to the frame of the trailer now. And now what I'm going to do is go back with some normal little wood screws and put some normal wood screws in there too. So these things won't go anywhere. We can strap whatever we want to down to those and they won't go anywhere. So let's see, you got some little racks or mounts up here. And what I'm going to do with these, I've got my E-track hardware up here. I'm also going to hang my straps here so that I've got straps ready to go whenever I need them. I put this one a little bit lower because sometimes we put a broom in there. It's nice to have a broom to sweep the mud and dirt out of the trailer at the end of the day. So I think that's about all I'm going to do for today, except one more little project here, which is my cable pass-through. Got one of these pass-throughs that I'm going to mount in the wall, and that way I can run my extension cords and things off my generator right through the wall, and that will allow me to keep the door fully closed at night. This is probably the most nerve-wracking part because you've got to drill a hole with a hole saw all the way through the wall of your brand new trailer. So this is one of those situations where you want to measure 3 times and cut once. Make sure that there's no wiring or frame sections or wall studs or anything back here where you're going to be drilling. And sometimes you can go around the exterior of the trailer by feel and just kind of press in on the aluminum side, and you can kind of tell where they're, structural pieces or whatever. So anyway, I got a hole saw. This one ended up being a little bigger than what I had last time, so I had to go buy a new hole saw attachment for my drill. But I'm gonna go ahead and drill out a hole, and then of course this one, the other thing I don't like about this one is there's no butyl tape in there, no sealant of any kind. So I had to buy some sealant to put around there, because what you do is after you drill your hole, this slides in from the outside and you screw it to the trailer. So you want to seal it real good so water doesn't come through. But this will be probably the last thing I'll do today, unless I feel real froggy here in a minute. I'm gonna run some more of this same sealant around my windows on the outside. They put a little bit on there when they built the trailer, but I'm gonna put some more on there. And also I noticed that this RV style lock is leaking. When it was raining really hard the other day, I noticed that some water was getting down in here and going through the latch. And so you may be able to kind of tell it even now where this has gotten wet right here. And this is not the kind of stuff you want to get wet very often. It will start warping real quick. So I'm going to try and seal that up a little bit better too. This is probably like the one part of the trailer I'm not real happy with in terms of build quality. I don't like this style of latch. The guy that I bought the trailer from kind of made it sound like this was the kind of latches, or hinges that you want, but I don't like them. They're real stiff. They don't let the door close very well or very flush. In the past, I've always had the piano hinges on my doors and they always worked perfect, but these kind, because you can see how it holds the door out from the wall a little bit, so it just doesn't let it seal up real well. Not super happy with that, but maybe I can tweak it a little bit this summer and get it better. Anyway, let me get the hole saw out and we'll go ahead and punch a hole in this wall and see what happens. Got that part done, and man, that was sketchy. I hate doing stuff like that because you never know. I mean, this could go really, really bad, but I checked really well and made sure that, like I said, there's nothing back there. This plywood's actually thicker than I thought. The previous trailers that I had did not have walls that were that thick, so it took me some time to cut through there. But out here on the outside, you can see that it's a fairly clean hole, and now this pass-through will just fit right in there like that, and we'll be able to straighten it up a little bit. But then we'll be able to just run our extension cords and stuff through the wall, like I said, with with keeping the side door completely closed. So now I'm just going to put some sealant around here and then stick it on and run my screws in, and that part will be done. Well guys, I think that's about all I'm gonna do on the trailer project for this weekend. It's been super windy today and we got some rain and storms coming. So we're gonna wrap up this project for the weekend, and we'll do some more later on. You know, maybe here in the next couple of weeks we'll do a little bit more and try to get this thing finished up. But we made some pretty good progress though, and I appreciate you guys watching. It won't be too much longer till we have this thing out in the woods. So stay tuned. We'll talk to you guys later.